And welcome into the Friday edition. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Fraser here with you on this Friday morning. Ian Safar is out today. Hope everybody's off to a wonderful start on this Friday morning. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Joe Rexrode, good morning. How are you?
Doing okay. Hope I heard a pretty good amount of the show yesterday. Sound like Kaharski did okay.
Yeah, it was fine.
Didn't say too much stupid stuff, which is a win for him. So good.
It's always my goal.
Yeah.
We almost made it the whole show without any Mike McCoy audio.
So when Ian did Mike McCoy audio for the rant, was that intentionally to trigger Paul, or he just forgot about it?
You know, I think he forgot about it, but it may have been intentional.
Yeah.
He did a very good job of making it seem like he forgot about it.
I'm going to choose to believe that he did that on purpose.
You know, I kind of am too.
Totally support, by
I
the way.
applaud.
Yes.
As did the entire text line, by the way. It was like, yeah, let's play some more. Let's get as much Mike McCoy in there as we possibly can. So good stuff from Ian yesterday.
Good question, Paul. Thank you. Thank you for the question, Paul.
Thank you.
We're going to punt.
Thank you, Paul.
We're
going to punt from our own 5. Or from the opponent's 5.
Yeah, there you go.
I hope you punt from your own 5.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yep. Nick Fraser, welcome to the program this morning. How we doing? What's going on?
Doing all right. I was chatting with you before Rexrode came in. Primetime football games for me are not great anymore. I'm turning into the 97-year-old man in a 27-year-old body because I fall asleep after the first quarter and wake up at like 10:45 and the game's over. I'm wondering, well, what the hell do I do now? I try to go back to sleep, can't go back to sleep. So, yeah, I went to bed around 2 a.m. and now I'm up and going. So.
Yeah.
2 a.m. Jeez.
Yeah, I just couldn't fall back asleep. I threw darts. I did everything.
Oh, my gosh. That's the worst.
Rough night with the toddler last night. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
good stuff.
I feel bad. I got a nice night's sleep.
I'm glad you did.
I just went to bed at halftime of the game. That's pretty much what I do on Thursdays. But I see that the Bills lost again. So
that's a large win for the Houston Texans, who it looked at one point like they were totally out of it, and now are, playoffs are on the horizon for them. Yeah. By the way, Buffalo now down to the 6th seed at 7-4. Jacksonville at 6-4, holding on to the 7. Houston at 6-5, holding on to the 8. And we'll see what Kansas City does this weekend at 5-5.
So Houston has a defense that absolutely should be in the playoffs. It's a legit big time defense, and they're starting to play better on offense. I assume C.J. Stroud's back next game. If he doesn't play well and they lose, like, are we actually talking about your guy?
What more do you want from him?
Some sort of in some sort of a serious manner? I mean, I think it's kind of ridiculous to say that, but at the same time, he's playing pretty well.
I hope Texans fans realize how lucky they are to have Davis Mills as an option to lead this sucker while C.J. Stroud's out. I mean, last night he wasn't great, but he did throw for 2 touchdowns. 53% completion percentage. Want to see it go up a little bit. Want to see it go up.
Yeah, there you go.
But I mean, 3 in a row. He's coming there and he's won. For them, it's pretty good stuff.
I mean, as much as Stroud was struggling, it's I think you're taking a leap to think that there'd actually be a QB competition, but like Stroud would be like, he needs to play well.
Yeah,
first, like they have something going here without him, and I never really thought he was the problem, but their offense has gotten better. So what you hope is, if you're a Texans fan, is of course some of the things that have gotten better just get even that much better when he comes back in. And Bills, man, whew. When the Patriots are going to win that division.
Yeah.
I didn't, even when they won that game at Buffalo, I'm like, yeah, Buffalo will get them back. But no, I mean, the Patriots are
they're going to win that division. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty wild. We talked about this briefly yesterday. It is a pretty, in the grand scheme of like NFL interest and playoff picture in the AFC, pretty darn big game this weekend between the Colts and the Chiefs. Yeah. Chiefs at home at 5-5. Backs, not necessarily against the wall. It's not like if they lose, they're eliminated, but it makes it hard with everything else going on around them right now. So big game in the AFC this weekend.
Yeah, I still fully believe they're going to be in the playoffs. They have some more winnable games after this. This is a big one, I think. And I also, I don't think they're going to win the division now, after the loss to Denver. I mean, so this is one of those where it's like, you kind of need to make a little statement. And again, I don't know if the Colts are really a contender. This is one of those games that helps you find out. A Chiefs team that's pretty desperate on the road. But yeah, Kansas City needs to pick it up. I thought that maybe once they got once they got Rice back, maybe they'd really take off, but they're still kind of, just kind of what they've been really the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
not nearly the scary offense they used to have.
Well, Charles made the point yesterday. Chris Jones really hasn't looked like the same Chris Jones. And look, at some point, with all the guys that they've had and all the football they've played, I mean, it's gonna have a cumulative effect. I mean, it's not like Chris Jones is some young guy out there anymore. So we'll see what happens on that front this weekend. We got a lot to get to on the program today. A lot coming up on the Titans front. We got Turron Davenport that will be with us. In the 8 o'clock hour, we'll get into some college football. In the 7 o'clock hour, a lot of things going on the program here today. Taking your thoughts in the meantime, 615-737-1025. We begin with an interview that Barry Trotz did yesterday on DVD, and it was a long one, as we've come to expect from Barry Trotz. I think it was over 30 minutes that he was on the radio with the guys yesterday, and he talked about a lot of different things. But obviously, one of the main things I think Predators fans were looking forward to hearing about was Andrew Brunette. He's still here, still the head coach of the Nashville Predators. And we've talked a lot over the past week or so about the timing in the schedule, and that if making a coaching change was on the radar, earlier this week probably would have been a good time to do it. And Barry Trotz was asked about the coaching staff, was asked about Andrew Brunette and the job that they're doing and why they're still here. And here is what Barry Trotz had to say yesterday with DVD.
Well, very simply, a little bit of I believe our coaches have done a really good job. A record may not show it, but they are coaching their butts off. And, it's the easy thing to, as I said in the past, it's the easy thing to do. This is a shared responsibility with the players, myself, and the coaching staff. So I put a little bit more on it's a shared, like you say, a shared responsibility. So from a player standpoint, we need more from, we went out and got some players the last couple of years to add a little bit of offense. And they've come up a little bit dry in the front end. We've restructured our defense, got a lot younger on the back end. We've got 5 guys that are basically 25 years and younger, so there's not a lot of experience there. But at the same time, we feel that there's a lot of growth for them. So our plan hasn't changed, and the coaches and the management and even the players have been part of the plan. That we are in a little bit of a blend mode, and we were going to add some young guys. So that's my answer to that. Is that that's the easy thing to do. If I didn't think the coaches were coaching and trying to make the players better and putting in the time and the effort, then I would make a change. That's not anything. A little bit it falls on all three parties. So
that was Barry Trotz yesterday explaining why he has not made a change at head coach with Andrew Brunette. Joe, what's your reaction to what Barry Trotz had to say there?
Well, my reaction to that is, okay, then to me, it's a non-issue the rest of the year. And again, I'll say that, and then we'll just be surprised out of nowhere. And again, maybe they go in such a tailspin that it's like, okay, like it's too much, too negative, whatever. But it's how he perceives it. It's not how we perceive it. It's not how the fans perceive it. I mean, my takeaway is, okay, well, Andrew Brunette's getting the year, and some Preds fans, I think, are going to be angry by that. Are probably angry by those comments. I get it. I get it in terms of the do something, show us show us that, like, you're upset that there's accountability. Again, like Vingan said, which again, I didn't necessarily agree with, but I understand the mindset. But, I also really, I can't summon that much outrage about Andrew Brunette not being fired. I mean, I don't think it's going to change anything. So, I guess I would assume it would happen after this year. But
maybe.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, as much as things are going to change, maybe it's like, maybe in Trotz's mind, it's like, well, now it'll be perfect because he'll be coaching this younger team, and that's what I thought he'd be good at anyway. I have no idea, but I don't think he's going to be fired this year.
The one thing that he said there that I really take issue with, and I don't think is a very good job by him of reading the room right now. I think that there is a large and growing gap between how he says things and how he views things and what his consumer base looks like. There is a big gap, and it's getting larger. I took a big issue in the first part of that clip there where you saying their coaches are doing a really good job. You can still believe in the coaches. That's fine. You can still think deep down that Andrew Brunette long term is the coach for this team. And you can even, I guess, really believe they're doing a good job. But they've won 6 of their first 20 games. Don't tell me they're sitting there doing a really good job. I'm sorry. Like, you can't say that.
Yeah. Well, the coaching their butts off, it's like, I mean, it reminds me a little bit of, I think it was near the end for Vrabel when he's talking about, how long the hours are. It's like, yeah, okay. That goes with it, man. Like, that should just be assumed. I mean, honestly, I don't even like people going nuts about like Cam Ward's show at 5 a.m. Okay. I mean, stuff like that is that should, you're the outlier to me. You're going to stand out for not doing that.
Yeah.
I
mean, they're like 31st in the league.
Like when teams do like charity work, that's what you're supposed to do. Okay. Yeah. It's not news. I mean, and so, yeah, the coach is coaching their butts off. Okay.
Yeah. Like
you're right. That a comment like that is going to, for the people, especially who are like, please do something, that's going to make them more angry.
Yeah. Like I would not have said that if I was him. And like I said, I'm largely with you. And from the standpoint of, I just think they're bad. I don't think they're a good team. And he mentioned at one point in the interview that could he fire Andrew Brunette and would he get a coaching bump? He said probably. He's like, it'd probably be about 5 or 10 games where you'd get a bump. So that tells me, I mean, he looks at the roster.
So he knows they're bad.
Yeah, he knows they're bad.
Yeah.
So again, that's fine. I don't have any problem with that because look, if you listen, we knew that heading into the season. I mean, they're not going to be very good. And we all knew that. But you can't when you're 6-10-4 through 20 games, tell your fan base that the coach and the coaching staff are doing a quote really good job. I'm sorry. That cannot happen. So I thought that was a big misstep from him yesterday. And again, like, look, this is clearly going to be a process that's going to take a while. I think we all know that. We've talked about that earlier this week. I can't assign a percentage to it. I'm sure there are some Predators fans out there that know that this is going to take a while, and I guess don't have that big of an issue with not making a coaching change right now. I do know there are a lot of people that do have an issue with it, and I just thought that was the way he said that yesterday. I was like, that is not going to go over well. And it didn't, by the way. Did not go over well with Predators fans.
How's Pred's Facebook doing with that? Yeah. I haven't checked in on them lately.
Yeah.
Well, and look, it's, I think for people who are really invested, again, I don't think it's, I actually, again, I agree with what he said because I think we all agree that what the limitations are here with the team. But like, if you're someone who's really invested as a fan, it's like, I get the idea of like, change something, change something, make it look different. Try it. Why not?
Well, and in the same breath, like he was talking about the players, and he was like, well, they're not producing all that much. And it's like, well, yes, that's also like kind of the job of the coach as well. Like I thought there's a whole lot of things there that if you just take a look at what he said, I was like, it's not going to go well with the Predators fan base. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. A lot more thoughts to get to on the Barry Trotz front. We will do that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Okay, you just told me something. So this is now 2 shocking stats that you have uttered on this show the last 2 days. In the interview with Charles yesterday, I had no idea that Ward is on pace to be sacked 70 times.
70 times. He's already at 41.
My God. Just like Charles, I was like, I mean, 55. It was bad.
70.
Bad. 70. And he just said Saros' save percentage down to 892?
That's correct at the moment.
My goodness. After like the, surprisingly and pleasantly surprisingly good start, he's at 892.
Yeah. Scarov at 905.
Deep sigh. If the coaches are doing a really good job, because again, it's like it's just in pro sports, like it's just your record is what, like you just can't get stray too far from what your record is in terms of performance. Again, it's like an awesome interaction I had with Mike Vrabel. I asked him to evaluate his first coaching year. He's like, "Well, we won 9 and we lost 7. Next." And I was like, "Well, okay, I mean, that's fair,
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, but I mean that's so. But if that's your evaluation that they're doing a really good job, then what kind of a job are you doing if you're Barry Trotz? Well, I mean, is that what you're saying? Basically, you're saying they're doing a really good job with a horrific team I gave them.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because Adam Vingan basically asked him that. He went back to, if you'll remember, a few years ago after they had gotten beaten by, I believe, Colorado and just swept in the first round. David Poyle at the end of that year, talking about John Hines, basically said, I didn't really give him enough. Didn't really do a good enough job of putting a roster together for him to really compete. So Adam's question was basically like, hey, what about you? Like, what kind of a job are you doing for your coach to give him a chance to compete? Here's what Barry Trotz had to say on that front.
Well, I would say, especially at center ice, I think that's something that we all try to fix, but we were unable to. So there, as you see, there's not a lot of movement at the center ice position throughout the league. No, it's not the strongest hand, no question. And then we've talked about it even before you were in the position you are now, Adam, that we were going to have a plan where we were going to get into a blend and hopefully stay a little more relevant than we have been. So the plan hasn't changed. That's part of the whole process, is that you're going to go through cycles, and we are in that cycle right now where we're going to keep continuing to add young players to our lineup.
So that was Barry Trotz on that front. And it said right off the hop there, Joe, the thing, I mean, their center ice depth is horrible. And we've talked about that a lot, right? Like they have probably, if not the worst, among the worst center ice group in the league. And Svechkov came up a lot in that interview yesterday of, he's got 1 point in 18 games. It's not gone well for him. And I don't know that to me, it's beyond just the points thing. Like he just looks totally invisible out there. Like there's been no impact on the game from Svechkov. So, that is where all this kind of starts right now, right? In terms of today's roster, their center ice just gives them no chance. And that's why I said earlier this week, this is not getting significantly better as the year goes on. I mean, there's a limitation on what you can do when your center ice is as bad as theirs is right now.
Brian says the coaches coaching their butts off comment is the ball didn't bounce our way. Yeah, that's an interesting.
It's not good. Yeah, I of the things that I knew Predators fans would take issue with of his interview yesterday, some of them I agree with, some of them I don't. But when he said that, I was like, Barry, you cannot say that. Not right now.
We got to play John L. Smith from 2004 at Ohio State today. I'll find it for you, Nick. The players are playing about time. The coach just screwed it up. Oh God, it's so amazing. I can't get out of my mind now. If we really want to nitpick Barry too, and really parse these words, in that clip we just played, he's talking about the blend and all that stuff, and we were hoping to stay. What did he say? A little bit relevant? Is that what he said?
Something like that, yeah.
And it's also like, again, I mean, I guess was that really the plan? Was that really the idea? Just to be on the fringe still and not lose people completely, and then eventually be good with the young guys? I mean, to me, you made moves to be like good.
Yeah, and I keep going back to a couple things, and that's what makes this conversation. I understand it when Predators fans say that they kind of feel like he's talking out of both sides of his mouth sometimes, and I don't know that he necessarily means to, but like I do think back to when they signed all these guys, and the day like that day he was talking about how like they did it to be a threat, right? Like he wants to be a threat. Adams brought this up a billion times, and I agree. Like there's no way they got Steven Stamkos and Jonathan Martso and all these guys to sign here and told them, hey, we're hoping to kind of hang around for a little while till our next core comes in.
Can you keep us on the fringe of the playoffs?
Yeah.
What do you say? Let's do it.
So look, I understand that, things change and your plan changes. And I'm sure, conversation. I mean, I know because the players have said it. The conversation heading into this year was different. Like they know where they are as a team, which is why I think, eventually here in a few weeks and months, a lot of guys are not here anymore. So we'll see what happens on that front. But it just another thing that keeps coming up in these interviews is he talks about it over and over again. And I understand the idea of like, I don't want to do a rebuild. Like I don't want to just wander through the wilderness. But right now you kind of are unintentionally, right?
Yeah,
like you were
hurtling,
horrible.
You're
last
hurtling
year.
toward it.
Yeah,
Yes.
like you were horrible last year. And I get it. Like the draft lottery didn't fall your way. Right now you're 31st in the league. So I know you're not intending to go through a rebuild, but you kind of are. And you're doing it with a bunch of old dudes out there.
Right. And so the disillusioned Preds fan who finally and understandably got sick of, okay, you've been trying to run it back and keep it together and get back to that level, but basically it's just the mushy middle and I'm sick of it. So now like you're doing a lot of the same things, but you're not even there.
Yeah.
And I understand. I mean, look, there is a like there are two timelines. I mean, obviously they've been stockpiling, but then I also personally have my own skepticism about, okay, tell me how many of these guys are going to be great players. Because I know that there's some guys who are going to be NHL players, but that's not a problem. Do you have any difference makers?
Well, I don't think there are two timelines anymore. There has been.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I know. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But that's my point. Like, there has been two timelines, but now we're pretty rapidly moving to one, right? Like, there's no other option. Like, they are just not, this is not going to work on this timeline, which again goes back to like, okay, so what's the coach doing? You got the goalie, you got all these guys. I mean, some of these guys are going to get moved here coming up. And then it's going to be what he talked about a lot in the interview yesterday is, well, how good is Igor Surin? Matthew Wood's here. When's Molendijk coming up? Like they've got a lot of young guys, but I'm with you. I think they've got a lot of young guys that have a chance to be good players. How many of them can be franchise players? And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
You have to have some. Because obviously you can get to a certain point and then you're going to have a young team, you're going to have cap space, you can go out and do this again, you know, but some of them have to be. And again, Matthew Wood it's encouraging, but like you need more than that. And honestly, to me, it's like a move like Saros to me, that would be one of the things where, again, depending on the return and all that stuff, you would hope it would be ample, but that's one of those things where one, you're obviously signaling it. And you're probably admitting a mistake, but at least that's something that maybe could help make up for it, accelerate things.
615-737-1025, our phone number. I tell you what we'll do. A lot of your thoughts to get to on the Barry Trotz front. We'll do that coming up next. We will get into the Titans and Cam Ward as well. Rexrode with some thoughts on that I do want to get into. So we will do all of that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. 615-737-1025. A lot of your reaction to get to on the Barry Trotz front from his interview yesterday with DVD. We will do that now. David on the text line says, I think for a lot of Preds fans, including myself, Trotz knew Poyle never fully committed to a rebuild in his last years, and he had a chance to finally completely reverse course, but he maintained status quo. It just extended the impending rebuild by 2 to 3 seasons. Michael says, how are you ever going to know if any of these young guys are good if they only get brought up to play fourth-line minutes or be healthy scratch by the coach who is, quote, doing a great job? Wood is the only one in recent memory for me who has come up and played a significant role outside of the fourth line. Well, I will say that is not true.
That's not true at all.
Svechkov was their second-line center to start the year.
I'd argue the other way.
And it just,
hey, Tommy Novak, second-line center.
Right. Like, there's a lot of these young guys, by the way, just aren't very good and had gone. And look, I'm not saying that about Svechkov yet.
They gave Tomasino top 6 opportunities, plenty of them.
Yeah. Well,
or he was in Milwaukee because he wasn't even close to being ready for that. And then look where he is.
Right. And right now, like recently, how many young guys have they had? Not very many when you look at it. Like Svechkov, they've had some young guys on defense. But like forward-wise, like LaRue, like I don't know if LaRue is ever going to be anything more than like a bottom 6 type player. Like Weisblatt's young, but he's a bottom 6 type player. So of their like the guys that they look at as top 6 potential skill guys, like Kimmel hasn't really been here yet. So he hasn't gotten that chance yet. And Svechkov has. Like Svechkov has been in the top 6. And by the way, it just hadn't gone well. And now he's all the way down the 4th line this year, and he should be. I mean, he probably, frankly, shouldn't be in the lineup right now with how bad he's been.
Yeah, look, like go back to Tomasino. Again, I totally get it if you're a Preds fan. First round pick, get him in there. We asked poor David Poyle to come on this show like once a week and have us like find different ways to ask him where the hell Tomasino is, right?
He joked about it a lot.
Yeah. So now can we all acknowledge like the problem is that he wasn't good.
Yeah.
Like, the problem isn't like what they did with him. You do whatever you want with him. He's not good enough. And there's just way too many stories like that. That's the problem to me. And that's where, again, my skepticism is. And I'm just looking at Kimmel, and it's like, you know, you keep an open mind. He's young, but like go through all the stories like that, you know, with this organization, with forwards. And I just have my doubts.
Well, it's time for Kimmel to, like, I think you're going to see him get in here pretty soon, but it's time for him to come up here and go, right? Like I understand he's only 21. I get that. He has played at this point, I don't know, 100-something games, 150 games when you factor in regular season and playoffs, maybe more than that with Milwaukee. That's a pretty good amount of time that he's been down there. So, like, that's somebody you need to see as the year goes on, that you need to walk away in April and be like, yeah, I think he might be pretty good. Like, he doesn't have to come in and score 30 goals for you this year, but like he needs to show you something at the NHL level. So,
sure.
I think, you know, another thing Barry Trotz talked a lot about yesterday was, you know, he didn't want all these young guys to just come in together and get their heads caved in. And I understand that. I do, because sometimes I think that can be detrimental. However, like, I think we're not that far away, whether it's in a few weeks, whether it is all the way until the trade deadline, where you start moving on from some of these guys, which they absolutely need to do with these veterans, where you're going to have to stick some of these kids in there and just see how they handle it. And maybe you don't do it right now. And maybe that is, I know a lot of Predators fans want to just start it, just go, start trading people. And I understand that.
It's coming.
Maybe you do buy a little bit of time over the next few months, and hopefully they're ready at that time. But you're going to need to see them at some point this year, a lot of these guys.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I get when he talks about that. You know, he certainly knows that. I mean, he's been in this game forever, and he's seen players develop, and I'm sure he's seen some examples of players who lost their confidence. But they're also, it's funny, again, when you compare the sports and you look at a guy like Cam Ward, we just talked about to get sacked 70 times. I think there's also a little bit of, okay, get up here, get your ass kicked, and you get through it, and you're better for it.
Yeah. Well, and look, I didn't think Matt Wood, like, after having watched him play last year, he got in for like 4 games or whatever it was. It's probably more than that, but he got in a few games at the end of last year. And I was like, I mean, you know, probably needs a year in Milwaukee. And then he has a great offseason, and he comes into camp and you ask Andrew Burnett, he's best player in camp. He got hurt, and then he come back in, and he's been really good. Like, to me, Matthew Wood is going to be here. Like, he's not going to Milwaukee. He's going to be here and needs to be here the whole time. We need more guys like that. Like, you need guys that say, hey, this is my opportunity. I'm running with it, and it's time to go. And I just don't know. Like, one texter brings up, he keeps bringing up players like Schaefer, LaRue, and Kimmel like there's some kind of game changers, and they aren't that caliber of player. You know, I don't have high expectations for Reed Schaefer. I think he's going to be like a fourth-line guy. We'll see. LaRue, if things go really well for him, maybe a middle six player. Kimmel needs to be a top six player. He's a high first-round pick. He's got a great shot. We'll see on him. But again, it goes back to the fundamental questions. They got a lot of prospects. They got a lot of young guys. Frankly, they got a lot of young guys that I think can be good. How many of them can be great? Because they need a few of those.
Yeah. They need that. They need more Matthew Wood stories, and certainly Brady Martin. I mean, there's optimism. There should be, but they also, to me, they need some luck and get McKenna.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they need some luck here. They need a lucky break.
Let's head back to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Nate to the program. Nate, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Morning, guys. My thing with the Preds, and I guess it just stems from what I listened to on DVD yesterday. I'm going to call in today to tell them the same thing. I understand we don't fully know what prospects are going to be. I fully understand that. But to me, there's too much use of the word hope when it comes to prospects. What did you think if you had great scouts? And I'm not saying that the Preds don't, but if you scouted really well and you drafted really well, which is not easy, then you wouldn't have to use the word hope, it seems like, all the time.
Well, thanks for calling it. I think you always hope until there's proof of concept.
Sure things are very scarce.
Yeah, look, it was this time last year that people were watching Connor Bedard, and they were like, yeah, I mean, he's good. Is he ever going to be great? Because, it was kind of a struggle for him halfway through last year. Now, it wasn't like he was going 15 games without scoring a goal or anything. But he wasn't lighting the world on fire. And now, you look at Bedard, and again, the Predators don't have anybody like Bedard, so I totally understand that. But he and Celebrini are just setting the world on fire right now. He's got 29 points in 20 games, 13 goals, 16 assists. It looks like he is going to be every bit as good as people thought he was going to be, which is not good for Predators fans, by the way. So I think there's hope with most of these guys, even the great players, right? There's hope with most of these guys until there's proof of concept. So I don't have any problem with, the hope. There's no other way to really go about it with some of your young guys, because sometimes you just don't know. These young guys can check every box, but that's the problem when you're drafting kids when they're 17 and 18 years old. Some of them turn into what you think they're going to be, and some of them don't. They just stop. Look, there's a lot of hope that Philip Tomasino is going to be a great player. He wasn't, and he isn't, right? Yeah. And now it's with two separate organizations. So that's just where they're at right now.
I remember reading some idiotic column in the Tennessean about Evie Tolvanen and how amazing he was going to be. I don't remember who wrote that crap, but yeah, it happens.
Yeah. Did you say Evie Tolvanen? It's even better.
Did I just say Evie?
Yeah.
Evie Tolvanen?
Evie Tolvanen. Ellie's brother?
Yeah, his twin brother. He's actually better. He's actually better than him. Yeah. Alex says, what do you think about Evangelista? I'm like, he's okay. Said, illuminating. Thanks, Joe. I don't know what to tell you, Alex. It's not – he's another example of a guy who there was a lot of hope, and there was actually – I thought there was a lot of promise 2 years ago, and he's fine.
Yeah, I think he's been fine this year too. I think he's been decent. Of their problems this year, I don't know that I'd necessarily include him high on that list.
I wouldn't include him on the problems list either, but he's not. All right, the previous conversation was, what's this guy going to be? And I just, I don't know that he's ever going to be,
He's like a middle six guy.
Yeah.
which again, like I've said this 1,000
You need
times with him.
those. You certainly
That's
need
fine.
those.
Like he's fine, but how many of those guys? Like you need more than just those guys
Right.
to win. And how many great prospects do they have?
You need Forsbergs, and you need what Stamkos was before he came to Nashville, and guys like that.
Exactly. So, and if Evangelista goes along with guys like that, then great.
Yeah,
that's awesome. But if you're relying on him, I think we've seen enough from Evangelista to say this. If you're relying on him to be like a key member of your future in terms of driving play, that is not going to happen. It's not. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We will get into the Cam Ward front coming up next. Some comments from yesterday that I want to get Joe's thoughts on, and Joe has something out there that he'd like to send a message to the NFL media at large. We'll do it next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. The MTSU Blue Raiders taking on Sam Houston tomorrow at 2:00. Catch all the action on Totally Hits 93.3 with coverage also available on the Totally Hits Nashville app and at TotallyHitsNashville.com. Taking your thoughts on the Titans at 615-737-1025. We'll have TD with us at 8:00. Looking ahead to, frankly, what could be a bloodbath on Sunday between the Titans and the Seahawks.
Oh, yeah, the Titans play the Seahawks this week.
They do.
That should be fun.
Yeah, should be nice. Looking forward to that. Joe, you have a message for media at large as it relates to one Cameron Ward. What is said message?
Well, as it relates to anything, but yeah, he's the example here. And I can't get into the heads of all these people, but I see back and forth about Cam Ward, which we constantly engage in. And I will admit some of this is inspired by our buddy Stilly, who, by the way, randomly texted me last night because I guess the Patriots have had this incredible good luck of injury or something. So now I guess it wasn't the Titans trainer, huh? Like, you're telling me you think this proves that the Titans have a bad trade? Shut up, man. But Stilly,
he's spending his Thursday night doing that. Yes.
Yeah, but he's an example of he's out on Cam Ward. I see some clips. I can't listen to him, all the time. But like he's totally out of course. He is the worst quarterback ever. It's hopeless. It's over. Okay. And so now he's funny because he has how many years did he spend like making fun of like metrics and underlying numbers and stuff, and now he's throwing all of them out there to prove that Cam Ward stinks. Listen, Cam Ward, I don't know what he's going to be, but if you are someone who is doing this by only box score scouting, and I'm talking all the underlying numbers too, just don't comment. Like it's pointless. All those numbers, I value them. They're good. They're good numbers to use, and especially they're good. I mean, just to have a context on everything that's happening with a team, with a league, with whatever. But like, they don't come close in my mind to watching someone play after play, week after week.
Yeah.
I don't really care. Like, people he's throwing these numbers out. Other people are too. I see back. So what you have is you have some of the film people, especially like Titans film people, who really get into that. They're screaming at like the numbers people who are like, he's the worst ever. They're like, look at this throw. I mean, I don't care. Like, if you are just, and again, I think both sides can take it too far, right? Now, if you're doing film, I'm not saying the film watchers and cutter uppers are only putting the good stuff out there, but it seems like it's probably a little bit more positive. Again, you can look at some of these throws, watch them over and over again, and holy crap, that's an amazing throw.
Yeah,
you can go back to Malik Willis's college tape and talk yourself into him being the greatest quarterback prospect of all time, and also the worst. Just cut it. But the people who only do the numbers, it's just like, and I think it's kind of obvious sometimes when that's the case. You're not bringing any value you're really not bringing any value to the conversation, or you're bringing very, very little value. It's just not enough context.
It needs to be a roadmap. It's the same thing. Like, I get into this with hockey analytics all the time too. It's the same thing. They're very useful. They can tell a lot about what's going on out there. But if they're the only thing you use, like if they're the only metric that you go by, and it's just like, well, what does the spreadsheet tell me? That's probably not a good way to operate. Like, they need to be a roadmap. And it's the same thing with Ward. Like, it was interesting having the conversation with Charles yesterday, because I guess I wasn't aware of it either, in terms of like just how much he's being sacked. And it is a fair question to ask, of like, how much of that is on the O-line, how much of that is on him. I mean, his sack percentage, which is, it's a metric Pro Football Reference throws out there, which is how much you're sacked, based on when you're dropping back. He's at 11%. It's 10.99%. Like, that's a freakishly high number of how many times he's being sacked, dropping back to pass.
Yeah. And that's a great example right there. It's like, if you just go by the numbers, I mean, I guess you can, I don't know. Okay. So you can, then from there, whose fault is it? Yeah. Is it him, or is it, watch him play, watch games. I understand a lot of people don't want to watch the Titans. Okay. But then don't pretend to be an expert on Cam Ward based on your analytics. And again, I'll flip it around. if there are good underlying numbers and all that with him on a particular day or whatever, it's like, okay, I don't need him. I watched him play.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the year, is it good to like? Is it do the stats matter and all that? Like, okay, let's see what they're. And I think the traditional stats still matter too. By the way, sure, but like these things, they help tell more of the story. They're important. They're useful. When they are gospel and solo gospel used that way, no, it's first of all, also it sounds like a terrible existence.
And I look, I think if you're, to your point, if you're being intellectually honest and you're watching Cam Ward play, this is probably the conclusion that you're coming away with. Most people, he's missing a lot of throws that NFL quarterbacks can't miss. The throw that he made, for example, last week to Chig on the sideline late in the game, it's a heck of a throw, right? I mean, it's a heck of a throw. And he makes a few of those a game where you're like, yeah, I mean, that is why he was taken first overall. And also, Joe, as you're watching all these things and you're seeing all these numbers and you're taking all these things into account, you're looking around, you're like, well, okay, so there's Van Jefferson. He's throwing the ball too. And there's Alec Iomanner and Mason Kinsey. He's throwing the ball too out there. And oh, by the way, depending on what day it is, the man door swinging wide open over there. On maybe another week, J.C. Latham's flat on his back and Max Crosby's running over the top of him. Like, all these things are happening. And if you watch it closely, like, it's pretty easy to see it, right? Like, there's a lot of problems. Cam Ward has some problems of his own. And while all that's going on, you'll make a few plays in a game where you're like, yeah, okay, cool. I like that. That's why he was drafted number 1 overall right there.
Yeah. I just like, and so through any of the, whatever you're using right now, it'll always, for me, I guess, right now, go back to, if you are convinced, like Stilly is, he's absolutely a bust, it's over, or convinced, like there are definitely some Cam Dews out there who are just, he is without question going to be great. I don't understand how you could possibly pretend, like, if you follow this league and you've watched this league for any amount of time, how you could pretend to know. You don't know.
Well, and there's something going on, not to bring up one of your boys and to give you a chance to toot your own horn here a little bit. But there's a story in the league right now that's going on that is kind of a perfect example of this, right? Like, and this player is not perfect. I don't know that he's ever going to be a great player. I don't know that he's ever going to be living up to the number 1 pick in the draft. But, basically a year and a couple of weeks into his career, people thought Bryce Young sucked and didn't deserve to be in the league anymore, right? Like, he got benched.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'm watching him on Sunday, and I realize he's playing against Atlanta on Sunday. But he's going 31 of 45 for 448 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, a quarterback rating of 123.2. You look at his numbers this year, he's 6-4, 62.7% completion percentage, almost 2,000 yards, 14 touchdowns, 7 picks. Like, he's not a superstar. He's probably not ever going to be a superstar.
But he's getting better.
But he's getting a lot better. And his team around him getting a little bit better.
Right.
I mean, they're in the playoff picture in the NFC. And if you just said that when he, right when he was getting benched, people thought you were nuts.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it just takes a minute in this league.
So that level of performance in year 3 for Cam Ward, what do people think about that?
I mean, right now,
it's not going to nobody's getting excited about it.
Nobody's getting excited about it. But there's also probably going to come a point, and I don't think this is a huge hot take, Joe, because we talked about this before the draft. There's probably going to come a point where every Titans fan is going to have to realize that he's not Patrick Mahomes, he's not Joe Burrow, which he was never going to be, by the way.
Yes.
Like, unless some miracle took place. So what is good enough to continue along with him? And that's the conversation we had basically all freaking summer after he was drafted. Like, what do you guys want him to be?
Yep.
Because everybody who thinks he's going to be just this upper crust elite of the elite player, maybe he turns into that, but the likelihood strongly suggests that he will not.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's, of all the outcomes, that's probably the least likely, like the smallest percentage if you took a bunch of categories. And then, I would say then probably the next smallest would be that he just completely flames out and he's like, out of this job at some point next season. I don't think that's likely either, but like the conversation is always going to be around number 1 overall pick. So I'm sure Panthers fans might still be like, well, gosh, he's still not the number 1 overall pick type player. But I mean, are they happy that their team's winning and some of their quarterback looks like he can play a little bit? Because I mean, that's the type of expectation you have to brace yourself for if you're a Titans fan.
And again, on that standpoint, you're talking about a 5'10", which may be generous, listed quarterback there too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, you're allowed to get better in this league. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll get back into the Titans a little bit later in the program. TD joining us at 8:00 to look ahead to the Titans and the Seahawks. We will look ahead to Diego Pavia's final, we think, college football game at home coming up tomorrow. Coming up next, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Fraser here with you on this Friday morning. We'll have Turron Davenport at 8 o'clock. We'll look ahead to the Titans and the Seahawks with TD coming up. Pigskin pick them a little bit later in the program as well. The home finale tomorrow for the Vanderbilt Commodores, at least we think so. Clark Lee's brought it up a couple of times, Joe, that there's a chance he's hoping for one more home game after this by the time the college football playoff rolls around. Now, I would say this, Joe. I think at the moment, based on what happened last week, it's probably going to be interesting enough to see if Vanderbilt gets in the college football playoff, much less host a home game in the college football playoff. So I would put that at very unlikely.
Yeah,
how I would describe it.
To get to the 8,
yeah.
you'd be talking about some serious chaos. I mean, serious chaos is possible.
It can happen.
You go through all the different things, Iron Bowl, and there's a lot of stuff that could happen. But yeah, that one seems a little bit far fetched at this point.
So that means that tomorrow, in all likelihood, Joe, is the final time that Vanderbilt fans are going to be able to see on their home field Diego Pavia play quarterback for their team. They are an 8.5-point favorite against Kentucky. We will get into that game specifically in terms of our picks and Pigskin pick them at 8:30. But an end of an era, I think, tomorrow. We're barring some more unforeseen eligibility from Diego Pavia. What are your thoughts on that as Vanderbilt fans tomorrow? Obviously, in hoping that they get the win against Kentucky, also celebrate one of the most impactful players in the history, probably the most impactful player in the history of their football program.
Well, I was prepared to scream at Vanderbilt fans for not selling this thing out if it didn't get sold out. It got sold out. I also I want to see, I'll be there Saturday. I just can't believe, I think Kentucky fans are mostly just mad at Mark Pope right now and his $22 million roster. I can't believe that there'd be that many Kentucky football fans who want to come to this game, although they should be proud of their team too. They've actually quietly done a really good job. Mark Stoops, again, has done a really good job. He's the Kirk Ferentz of the SEC. But this should be a Vanderbilt dominant crowd. Good to see it sold out. The Auburn game, I always look at the secondary markets, still right up until, before kickoff, the lowest tickets were like 120, 130 range. These tickets are like 60. I guess I should look right now if I'm going to talk about this, but I looked yesterday and you're talking about like, 64 is the lowest right now for this game. So it's going to be full. That's good to see. You hope it's full of as dominant of Vanderbilt fans for an SEC game as it's been for a long time. I think it should be. And it's just, this is one of those things where the fans, this is a good opportunity to show appreciation for a guy who, to me, I just can't think of too many more impactful Vanderbilt athletes over a long period of time than this guy and what he's done. And also, by the way, I think it's going to be a good game, tough game. Like any sort of win over Kentucky, I understand it's like some Vanderbilt fans are talking about style points and all that. So that'd be great. I mean, if you can blow out Kentucky and you can blow out Tennessee, sure, that helps you. I think any kind of win at all in either or both is a good job. It's not going to be easy.
Well, Kentucky's been playing better the last few weeks, and Stoops has got them believing a little bit again. I mean, other than the Tennessee game a few weeks ago where they got absolutely shelled out there, they've been pretty decent defensively all year long. So what does that look like tomorrow against Pavia and this offense? I know, I've heard some talk this week, and I think Chase and Big Joe were talking about this the other day. Like, is this a trap game for Vanderbilt? It's hard for me to believe that the final home game of Pavia's career is going to be a trap game. Like, I'd be very surprised if they came out not ready to play tomorrow. Like, I don't think there's any overlooking of Kentucky that's going on with Vanderbilt right now.
I mean, Auburn just took them to OT, man.
Yeah. So I don't think that's the thing. I think Vanderbilt knows that they're going to have to win both of these games and maybe even potentially get some help beyond that. We'll see. But I mean, because of that, like there should be a hyper focus on each game heading into this. There's only 2 left. So I don't really worry about the trap game part of this for Vanderbilt heading into Kentucky. They got a whole lot to play for. It's their quarterback's last home game. I think they're going to be ready to go tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, I fully expect that. It's been good probably to get some rest, some self-scouting, stuff like that. And again, looking at Kentucky, I mean, they went into Auburn, beat them 10-3.
Yeah.
But then they beat Florida 38-7. And look, I mean, I just watched Florida again give Ole Miss all they wanted. I mean, so you never know with some of these teams when they're between between coaches and all this stuff, the ups and downs that are possible. For the most part, though, like they beat Texas, like they've been a pretty good team, and Kentucky just thumped them. They play tough defense. They're always tough. They're always physical. And now Cutter Boley, the redshirt freshman, this is where the excitement is in Kentucky. I mean, they just haven't. They had Levis, but they've been in the quarterback wilderness for most of a long period of time. Now they have this young guy who is playing really well, and now their offense has some explosiveness to it. So it's not going to be easy at all, and I don't buy at all for a second that Vanderbilt would. I mean, this is senior day.
Yeah,
it's the last. Again, it's Pavia's last day. All that stuff, and you're playing for a playoff spot. Like most years, realistically, you're not going to be at Vanderbilt playing for a playoff spot in late November. So no, I think they'll be ready to play.
Josh asking if Vanderbilt should retire Diego Pavia's number. I think that will be that'll be under consideration at some point. Also, like if they win the next 2 games here and get to the college football playoff and do some damage, then yeah, I mean you're gonna strengthen that case. But yeah, like I think it's something you talk about.
Look, when Shedeur Sanders gets his number retired at Colorado, I think anything's on the table. But yeah, look, I mean college numbers being retired. I mean, how many? I mean, some of them are like 3 and 4 year starters, but like I'd say a lot of them are probably 2 years of really being a difference making player. And some schools have different, they have like guidelines like you must be a first team All-American or stuff like that. But I would say tell me who else in this program in the memory of like in the era of television that we would talk about having a retired number.
I don't know. I mean, look, I say all that. Has Florida retired Tebow's number yet?
I
don't think that they have. Like I know every time I watched Anthony Richardson out there wearing 15 or Graham Merckx wearing 15, I was like, what are you guys doing? You can't Tim Tebow, you can't retire his number. What's going on out there?
But see, most retirements take a while, right? Like I think they should.
Yeah,
take a while.
But like I think with him, like
kind of obvious.
He's on the short list, regardless of how his NFL career turned out.
Oh yeah, that's all.
He's on the short list of greatest college football quarterbacks ever. Like I think that one should be pretty quick.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess it depends. Yeah, if you were going to do an immediate one, but I like with Pavia, for example.
I mean, Shedeur got his retired. I think the moment he walked off campus.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. It's like it's dumb. I mean, and it was for him. I mean, obviously turned around the program, and Hunter should have had his retired. I mean, I think that's why. But I like to me, in all seriousness, like with Pavia, I would rather other people can wear it, and then like in 2036. You bring him back and retire it. I just think that's give a little time, just like in the NFL Hall of Fame, like you have to take those 5 years. You know what I mean?
That's fine. I just, he's been out of Florida for a while.
Well, at this point, I would agree. At this point, yeah.
A long time.
Like maybe they're just not going to do it.
We're coming up on 20 years, which is kind of wild to think about. 615-736
championships.
Depressing AF.
Yeah. 615-737-1025, our phone number. More thoughts on Vanderbilt and Kentucky coming up. Plus, what else does Vanderbilt need to have happen tomorrow as it relates to the college football playoff front? We will get into that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, broadcasting live at the all-new Circa Sportsbook Kentucky in the Mint Gaming Hall this Monday, prior to the Monday Night Football game. Monday night matchup, Joe Rexrode's beloved Carolina Panthers taking on the San Francisco 49ers. What a matchup for Joe. He'll be up all night on Monday watching Bryce Young do his thing.
Probably not. But I thought it was interesting, PK's comment yesterday about how Carolina Panthers are like the most nondescript. I guess I kind of agree with that. Just like, bleh. I mean, it's kind of like Jacksonville Jaguars, right? I'd put them both in there, although they have the milky pool. By the way, if anybody hasn't seen it, this Butch Jones meltdown, I really just watched it. You told me about it before the show in our pre-show meeting.
You may need to go to the doctor.
Holy cow, he lost it. So they got stopped in the 1 yard line last night, but my goodness, he looks
insane.
I mean, he wasn't. I just need to know. I mean, the lip reading, there's definitely a couple words I can obviously tell what he's saying, but I want to know what he was screaming. Like, who they scream at the ref, I guess?
I don't know who he's screaming at.
Butch, take it easy.
A lot of Butch getting fired up lately. He was mad. He come out of the tunnel a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Where are the fans? There's no fans in the stands. Where are they? And now he's screaming at himself, going off the field.
Yeah, is the place normally packed?
Yeah. Big ticket out there in Arkansas State?
I
don't know. I mean, it's not that big of a stadium, so
yeah,
I would assume they can fill it up every now and then.
Hang in there.
Where are the fans? Where are they? I mean, if you're getting that mad, Butch, maybe time for your own health. Hang it up a little bit.
Maybe, yeah.
So it's honestly, Joe, it's not a great week of college football. Matter of fact, to the point where I was like, so Tennessee and Florida is the ABC Saturday night game with Herbstreit and Fowler. And like, if that's your featured game on ABC, it probably says it's not a great week when the 3-7 Florida Gators are featured on the Saturday night ABC game. Now, having said that, couple of interesting ones that are out there, including, I guess I'm just a big BYU watcher, but BYU Cincinnati from the Vanderbilt standpoint, very interesting. You're rooting for Cincinnati.
Yes.
If you're there. I would say Pitt, Georgia Tech in the ACC. You would like to see Pittsburgh go on the road and beat Georgia Tech there. What else kind of stands out to you about, if you're a Vanderbilt fan, within the world of realism, what are you looking for this week? And so that means I'm eliminating Eastern Illinois taking down Alabama from the discussion.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest one to me, the biggest reason that their percentages plummeted, and if this team took one more loss, their percentages would jump up again. Again, the percentages, their percentages as people look at them are lower because they're not favored to win at Tennessee. But Oklahoma is the big key to me. It's Missouri at Oklahoma. That's a double whammy. The biggest thing would be Oklahoma take a third loss, and I just don't think they're going to get in despite the wins that they have. And I think, and also Missouri winning that game would entrench Missouri as a ranked win for Vanderbilt. It would make that win look a lot better. Looks like Bo Perbula also, again, is not going to go. So it's going to be a tough one. But Missouri's, a solid team. That's the huge one at 11 a.m. if you're a Vanderbilt fan. If Missouri or LSU can get Oklahoma in these last 2 weeks, that to me opens the door as much as anything. But yeah, you also, you want to make sure the ACC and Big 12 have won. So Utah, I still believe, like, again, with some of these, Utah has Kansas State and Kansas to finish here. Okay. They're probably going to win these games. I still believe that Vanderbilt winning at Tennessee puts them past Utah. I believe that. But root for Utah to lose. Root for Utah to lose. Root for BYU to lose. Like you said, root for Georgia Tech to lose. In the Big Ten, you could have this pipe dream of them only getting 2. I don't see it. You also have the nightmare of them getting 4.
Yeah.
Now, that scenario would be USC beating Oregon, and then Oregon still getting in. You look at Oregon, if that happens, and you could question them, with their wins. But
probably just need Oregon to go ahead and win that game.
Exactly. Just root for Oregon to take out USC. Next week, root for Ohio State to handle Michigan. Michigan's at Maryland. They could lose that game. They're not very good. They got lucky to beat Northwestern on the road last week. So root for them to lose one more and get them out of there. And you're going to have to live with the Big Ten with 3. But again, to me, all these things could happen for you. And I think that fifth, again, not that the SEC automatically gets 5 spots, but I mean, there's 5 SEC teams. 3 of them are pretty much locked. Now, it could get interesting, but, again, you think about Georgia losing to Georgia Tech,
Yep.
I mean, there's some teams that, and Alabama. We just found out that Ashton Daniels apparently is sitting out. He's going to redshirt this year. So I guess he just doesn't use that year of eligibility. So now they're going to start the freshman Deuce Knight, big recruit. But I mean, that lessens the chances of Auburn winning the Iron Bowl. But I mean, if Alabama loses one more game, now would a 3-loss Alabama that beat Vanderbilt get in over Vanderbilt?
Yes.
Yeah, they might.
I think so.
They might. But at least it's like, I mean,
particularly if the loss. I mean, if they beat Auburn and they lost in the title game, I think that they would.
I agree with that for sure. But if they lost to Auburn, I mean, it's interesting. Look, clearly the committee is they never acknowledge it because, of course, they just say all sorts of stuff that makes no sense and contradicts other stuff they say. But obviously, they have recency bias. Of course they do. That's why they have Notre Dame where they do. Notre Dame looks great. They look like a team that should be in the playoff. They look better than Miami. We're still sitting here, everybody's screaming, and I get it. At the end, if they're both 10-2, Miami better get in over Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Right now, they're not even in the same grouping to be compared against each other.
Yeah.
But recency bias bad. So if Alabama loses, just like last year, all those SEC teams think they got screwed. It's like, hey, Alabama, don't go get smoked by a crappy Oklahoma team. At the end, that's the last thing they saw of you. You're out. Ole Miss, don't blow it at Florida. You're out. So if Alabama loses to this Auburn team with Deuce Knight at quarterback,
I think
don't know.
if they lose to Auburn, then I think that they are probably out at that point. But if the third loss for Alabama came in the title
Texas
game,
A&M,
they're in.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah. Now, that's another thing that's interesting because it's like Mac Rhodes, the previous chairman of the committee, was like, yeah, if it's a blowout, then, then maybe you take, like the conference, it's not supposed to cost you. Hunter Yurachek comes in last week. He's like, that's another data point, just like all the other data points. Oh, okay.
Which
cool.
one is it? Yeah.
We'll find out. But for the Vanderbilt fan, like if you're being realistic about your team, how you want your team in, what matters is winning. Oklahoma, if Oklahoma loses one of these 2 games, I believe you're going to be in. If Oklahoma doesn't, then you're going to need some other stuff to happen that's less likely.
Yep. You're pulling for the Dorkwitz tomorrow. Get Dorkwitz in there on the road, taking down Oklahoma. That's what you're pulling for if you're Vanderbilt. Big Eli Drinkwitz fan out there, which I know.
Dorkwitz.
It's a tough place to be.
Dorkwitz is good.
I didn't come up with it. That's a very popular nickname for him.
I like it. Yeah, it's too bad because I brushed off all along this idea that a 10-2 Vanderbilt wouldn't get in, but also I just didn't think Oklahoma was any kind of a factor. I mean, Alabama completely dominated that game in terms of total yardage and all that stuff. But you have a couple terrible turnovers, and that's what happens. I mean, Tennessee should have beat Oklahoma.
Tennessee
too.
should have been up by 20 points on Oklahoma at halftime and weren't. So because they turned the ball up.
Yeah, like I'm looking at Oklahoma. Obviously, they have like the kicker from hell, and they have a really good quarterback. But great Daisy Dukes. But I mean, they're not that good. I don't think they're that good. But they keep finding a way.
I think their defense is that good.
Yeah, their D is very good.
Yeah, but you watch their offense and it's okay. But it's not anything that scares you. I don't think. But here they are.
If Oklahoma and Vanderbilt played, who would win?
I think Oklahoma.
On a neutral site, you pick Oklahoma.
Yeah. I just think their defense is really good. Really good.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And Mateer's good. I think Mateer, now that he's healthy again, I mean, the second half of Tennessee game, he just ran all over him. That was the other thing. So their offense is not great, but he can make some plays when you need him to.
Their defense is good, but like their defense, if you want to compare them, like Auburn's defense has actually been better this year.
Yeah.
And Vanderbilt carved them up. So yeah, that's where it's like, that's where I'd like to see Vanderbilt in the playoff, just as a college football fan, because I do think that their offense can give like a defense that traditionally stops people problems.
Yep. 615-737-1025, our phone number. A big one tomorrow for Josh Heupel and Tennessee. They are on the road in the swamp. The record suggests that you shouldn't be all that worried about Florida, but the talent suggest something different. We will get into that coming up next, and we will also later this hour for the Rob rant get into the ongoing Lane Kiffin stuff because my God,
Oh, goody!
it is some
I like
wild stuff going on out there. All that ahead, Robby and Rexrode 102.5 The Game. If you're looking for a great spot to pregame before the Titans game at Nissan Stadium this Sunday, stop by John Bon Jovi's. Pregame with 102.5 The Game. JBJ's has the best food on Broadway, cold beer, and cocktails, stunning skyline views, including 2 epic rooftops. Pregame show brought to you by Tennessee Brew Works and Old National Bank. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. We'll have the Rob Rant coming up, TD with us at 8 o'clock, Pigskin Pick'em at 8:30. Joe, one of the games we will get to in Pigskin Pick'em. Tennessee is on the road, heading down to the Swamp to take on the 3-7 Florida Gators. Now, as we know, the Florida head coaching job is open. We will get into a candidate for that job here in just a few minutes. But Florida, it's interesting because, as you mentioned earlier in the show, they got destroyed a few weeks ago by Kentucky. Just completely no-showed in the game. And then you watch them against Ole Miss last week, and it's like, well,
they could have won that game.
Could have won the game, and it doesn't take long watching them to say, well, they got some pretty talented guys out there. So, this is a objectively hilarious thing to say. I get this, but it's a pretty good 3-7 football team down there in Florida.
Hey, the committee gives a lot of credit for beating that Penn State team.
They apparently they do. So this is a place that Tennessee has not won since 2003 when Casey Clausen was the quarterback. I was 11 years old. The last time Tennessee won in the Swamp, they won that game 24-10, and it's just been basically a disaster down there ever since. I mean, there's been a couple heartbreakers at the end of the game where they've lost there. They've gotten absolutely their doors blown off down there. There was the basically no show of tackling the defense did a couple years ago when Joe Milton was the quarterback down there. It's not gone well for Tennessee at the Swamp. So as we know, Joe, scheduling changes are about to take place. Tennessee, Florida are not going to play each other every year. So a chance to close out, at least for now, the annual portion of the rivalry on the right note. How big is this game for Tennessee? How big is this game specifically for Josh Heupel in your mind?
I think it's huge. And I'm not saying I'm warming up to I almost used Topmeyer's nickname that was used on social media that I apparently should not be said in public. Our boy off the top rope.
Blake.
Yeah, Blake T. Topmeyer. Nothing sloppy about it. I'm not warming to necessarily to it. I definitely not the you should go to Penn State idea, but I must say, if you lose either of these last 2 games, I would argue probably losing to Vanderbilt would be worse. I think losing to Vanderbilt at home, despite all this amazing season by Vanderbilt, I think that would be worse. I don't know. You tell me. But I think losing either game, given where things are, you can accept. You should, if you're a reasonable Tennessee fan, you should be able to accept everything that's happened in the last 8 months or whatever, and be like, okay, and you win these last 2 against Florida. And by the way, this is something that Tennessee teams in all kinds of different states against Florida teams in all kinds of different states with all kinds of different coaches never do. They don't beat them there.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a nice little feather in his cap, actually. I don't care how bad they are. It doesn't happen. You don't do it. We've seen it with him. It's how does this happening? I mean, I remember that game. Was it the game 2 years ago? I guess, right?
Yes.
Where you're what?
They're clearly better.
Can't tackle anybody.
They couldn't tackle anyone.
Doing? So I think it would be a nice feather in his cap, and I think it would be not as I think it's more positive than bad, actually, in a way, because of that history. The Vanderbilt loss would be worse. I think if you're him and you're okay, you're only winning one of these. If I'm him, I'm taking Vanderbilt. I'm not losing to Vanderbilt at home. But I think in either loss, I think it does ratchet up a little bit of this, what is happening here, and people being a little bit disillusioned with him.
Yeah.
And the bad road performance thing from him, Adam Sparks has put some context on that. You have to be fair about that. But still, there's some bad ones in there. So there's some stinkers in there. Don't want one of those.
No. And look, they've lost one game on the road this year. It was at Alabama. That does not qualify as the stinker. This is setting up to be it could be one of those. This is a game you need to go. I think this is important what I call a program game for Heupel. Like, you need to go on the road and win this game, because like I still think if you assigned a percentage to it, overwhelming majority of Tennessee fans still pretty happy with Josh Heupel and the job that he's done, and are excited about the future. I think if you win this game and you beat Vanderbilt at home, even though you're not getting in the college football playoff, it's not going to take Tennessee fans long to look at it and say, you know what, 9-3 with the quarterback situation being what it was heading into the year. And, oh, by the way, look at some of the guys we got coming back next year. Like, it's going to transition into that very quickly if they win these last 2 games. If you lose one of them, particularly if you lose both of them, it's going to get loud, and it's going to get loud quick.
Oh, certainly both.
Yeah, it's going to get loud really quickly with the Tennessee fan base. You know, also, like, I think at some point you just got to go on the road and beat Florida, right? Like, that's what it is. I mean, it's been since 2003, and if you don't do it now, like, when are you doing it, right? Like, I understand. I just said, if you watch Florida play, they've got talent, they've got ability, but they are a 3-7 football team. Like, you need to go on the road and win the game if you're Tennessee.
You do. And by the way, Vanderbilt needs you too. So I don't know if that helps you at all, if that gives you a little extra push, Vols. But those Commodores, after what they hope is a win over Kentucky, are going to be absolutely putting their orange on, because they need you to be a ranked win for them when they plan to beat you a week later. They are big fans of Tennessee in this game. But, yeah, I mean, it's just Tennessee's better. Tennessee, even like Florida. Okay, Florida does have a high level that's pretty good, and they're all over the map. But Tennessee should be able to go in there with that offense and go up and down the field on them. I absolutely believe that, and make enough plays. I mean, I think Florida's going to score some points in this game. You know, they've got. I mean, Lagway he's a player, but he also makes mistakes, and that's one thing Tennessee has done this year. You know, they may not be consistent enough on that side of the ball, but they do they create and they capitalize on mistakes.
I think, you know, I've never really bought too much into the mental part of all this. Like, Tennessee fans this week have been freaking out about, it's Florida on the road. I mean, it's Florida on the road. And most of these kids don't care about all that, right? Like, you know, most of these kids weren't even alive in 2003, the last time they won the game. So, but I do think, like, you hear about it so much.
Yeah.
Heupel's heard about it so much that I do think getting off to a good start is pretty important, because if Florida jumps out to a 10-point lead, whether you're really meaning to or not, in the back of your mind, at least some of your players and even maybe some of your coaches are going to be like, man, what is it about this place? Like, can we not just, as a program, is there some sort of voodoo we can't get over down here? Like, I think from that standpoint, it's pretty important to start out pretty hot if you're Tennessee.
I've covered some Tennessee-Florida games in Gainesville that I thought maybe there must be some voodoo involved, including, hey, Butch, you're at the 1-yard line. What are you going to do? Hey, let's throw it around the yard. But
was he screaming at himself after that one too?
I don't know. You know, as rough as this has been, you know, to be knocked out, the Oklahoma loss is such a downer. It's not a bad, like, to have a chance to finish 9-3 by ending this streak. And it sucks that they're not playing every year now, but ending this streak as things change with that, and then potentially, like, ruining Vanderbilt's playoff hopes. I mean, as consolations go, it's not terrible.
I would like to formally apologize to Teresa Walker, who said just age shaming us older folk. 11 back in 2003. Ouch. That's what it was. 11 years old.
Oh, Teresa feels old?
Yeah.
I mean, she is older than me. All due respect.
Oh, jeez.
But, hey, I think you're younger than Kaharski, Teresa, so there you go.
There you go.
We're all younger than Kaharski.
By the way, nice Phil Collins coming back in. We've had Joey and Bellevue on the text line. Doesn't PK kind of look like Phil Collins?
Yeah.
Kind of does.
Except, but Phil always had the side hair, you know. If he went full, I could see PK rocking on the drums.
How about the Friar Tuck hair?
Sure. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Friar Tuck hair. I like that.
I wonder if PK is a Phil Collins fan. I like Phil Collins. I think it's good stuff.
I mean, who doesn't love Phil Collins? Well, you're not even human if you don't love Phil Collins. And good for you, old soul Nick Frazier, for playing some.
That's a great song too. Love that song.
You're welcome.
Good stuff. We will get
I'd
into
like more Phil. If you got some more, I got some ideas for you.
We will get into Tennessee and Florida later in the program and Pigskin Pick'em. There's something I must do there, but we'll get into it a little bit later in the show. Got the Rob Rant coming up next. We got TD at 8 o'clock. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Don't make me angry.
Sometimes you have to tell someone to pound sand.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
This is the Rob Rant. Now on Robby and Rexrode.
Like I said, man, we're having a blast. I love it here. You pray for things. Now we're in the middle of it. So enjoy it.
This is all bullcrap, is what this is.
Good question, Paul. Thank you. Thank you for the question, Paul.
Thank you.
We're going to punt.
Who said the club's handling it the right way right there?
That was McCoy.
What the hell is going on? I said a simple rule.
It was just in the
Now,
rant.
I
had
like
to
you. I
sneak it
think
in
you're
the
doing a
rant.
good job. Now I have broken my promise to the public.
Well, we won 9 and we lost 7. Next.
Whose ass are you? Is your head up then?
Our latest criminal has made it in the building.
Would you call this cutting someone's jugular, Mike?
We're vibing, Robby.
Hey, Robby. Still vibing, kid?
We're vibing, Robby. Vibing, 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 vibing. Vibe. We're vibing, Robby.
It is time for the Rob Rant, brought to you by Functional Medicine of Tennessee. Rise up to better health. Check them out at functionalmedicineoftennessee.net. Shout out to Preds legend Ryan Johansson. Who's that guy?
They were vibing. Yeah, man. That guy. Yeah, it's fun. Fun dude.
It was. The Kuharski separating the head, trying to figure out whose butt it was up.
Who's
was one of the greatest things that have ever happened on our station. Just totally amazing.
Oh, God.
All right, so let's get into Lane Kiffin stuff. And here's where I'm going with this. First off, it's a winding road here, Joe, because I think in the last 48 hours from tons of different people, I have heard everything from, I think Florida's going to be it. I think it's going to be Florida to, oh, man, he's definitely staying at Ole Miss to, he's already bought a house in Baton Rouge. Like, he's the LSU head coach. Like, what's going on out there? So, like, I don't really expect anything else from a Lane Kiffin involved search. Here's what I take issue with. So a lot of conversation has gone on with Lane Kiffin and this SEC teleconference call that he was on earlier this week, where apparently, obviously all these national media members are on the call, and apparently Lane Kiffin was just like totally perplexed at the idea that people would be asking him whether or not he's going to be coaching in the Egg Bowl coming up next week. And this is kind of what bothers me a little bit about Lane Kiffin. I mean, look, the Tennessee stuff is so long ago that, frankly, I don't really care about it anymore. I know a lot of Tennessee fans still do. I don't. I largely like Lane Kiffin. I think he's kind of funny. But, like, you don't get to be, like, this big troll on social media all the time, love having your name all in the spotlight, and then get on the teleconference and be like, what's wrong with you guys? Like, why in the world would you even ask something like that? Of course I'm going to be coach. Like, well, you may not be the head coach at Ole Miss by then, bub. So that's why they're asking about it. So that part really bothered me the other day. It's like, you can't have it both ways. Don't get up here and be this guy who does nothing but love all this attention and then be like, oh, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I have no idea. Why would you even ask me?
Why can't y'all be like McAfee and not ask me any actual questions?
Yeah. So
just kiss my ass.
I guess, Joe, the latest on that appears to be, I think he's meeting with Keith Carter, the Ole Miss athletic director, today by the reporting. We'll see what that looks like. As of the last kind of stuff I was reading on this yesterday, it feels like, I think Wolken put this out there and other people did, that it's now trending towards like it's either going to be LSU or Ole Miss and Florida's kind of out.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it feels like right now. What do you think of where we are on the Lane Kiffin front?
Yeah, it seems that way. I mean, look, there's momentum on the LSU front. My gosh, I should have been ready for this, but there was a report. I feel so bad that I forgot his name. Zenitz. I mean, I know the guy. It's pretty bad. I'm sorry, Matt. Works for CBS. So this tweet is really interesting. 14 hours ago. Quote, if/when Lane is hired as LSU's head coach, LSU is open to former Tigers head coach Ed Orgeron being part of his staff, sources tell CBS Sports. Which, first of all, is hilarious on its own, that he'd just be like his hype man, on the sideline. But also, the if-when thing is a little bit, and Matt has good sources, but also, I think, as a lot of people have pointed out, Wolken has pointed this out, Wetzel's pointed this out, Russo for us, man, be careful with like, oh, you think this person thinks that, because he's changing his mind. Inside his brain, there are sources that are conflicting with each other, okay? But I totally agree with you. This is you are exactly right, man. Be that guy. I think he's hilarious. I think he's a lot more likable than he used to be. I think he's a damn good coach, and what he's done at Ole Miss is clear evidence of that. But also, like, if you're gonna do this and you're gonna be the belle of the ball and do all this stuff, this comes with it. Yeah, this comes with it. And also, again, I think good for Ole Miss. I don't know if you saw the Chris Lowe report on the playoff committee. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
That now, and you mentioned it the other day. Now, I would be shocked if they kept them out, but Lowe's report was more that it could affect us. And that's fair. I mean, I think that's fair because he is so, like you said the other day, he is the play caller. It's not like he's just the head coach and then everybody game day would just operate as normal other than him just, being the CEO. Like he actually calls the plays.
Yeah.
So I think, it could hurt them if you're Ole Miss, but if you win, you don't lose to, all due respect, Nick, Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl, which you shouldn't, then you're going to be in the playoff. And it would suck to lose Lane, but you go forward to me with Pete Golding and you do what you can do. Cause it's just, I just think it's so problematic for him to still be around if he decides to take this LSU job.
I'm interested. Like I said the other day, again, I don't think they're going to miss the playoff, but to me, it should affect their seeding. Like if he's not there, that's a big deal, man. Like he's a play caller and he's darn good play caller. So they probably should host a playoff game. And I don't know that they're going to if he leaves.
It might drop them a couple spots, whatever. Yeah. But also I will lose some respect. I mean, this whole thing is pretty lame. Look, if you have these incredible jobs opening, you can't blame someone for considering it. No. And also he's not the one who made it so that these things can happen. This is the dysfunctional college athletics that play again.
The fact that calendar plays out like this is just stupid.
It's a joke. Again, you just have to figure these things out better than this. But, the way he's going about it, again, with the family stuff, I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's to me, it's like you're inviting more of this stuff. And if he leaves Ole Miss, I must say, I'm not going to, root against him to the extent I did against Brian Kelly at LSU, but I will root against him because I think that this year, I think Ole Miss, you would need some breaks, but I don't see anybody in this field that's so dominant, so good that they couldn't beat them. I mean, they went to Georgia. They were kicking their butt. They blew it. They blew it. They went to Oklahoma. Yeah. They handled them on the road. I think that team, they would be on my list of probably 5-6 teams that could actually win this thing. And so if you can do that, why not stay there? Why not stay there?
I mean, look, I get the appeal of LSU. I really do. I mean, it's one of the best jobs in college football, or at least it has been. Now things are changing.
There's some weird stuff around.
Right.
It, though.
I mean, it has. That's probably the better way I should put it. It has been. If we had this conversation 5 years ago about LSU and Ole Miss, we would all say he's an idiot for even considering staying at Ole Miss.
It'd be done, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So things have changed on that front. And I know, speaking of family, everybody, I guess his daughter was at an LSU booster event last night, and everybody was like, well, I guess it's a done deal. And I was like, well, his daughter is dating an LSU player. So there's also that.
That's a good point.
So I don't know that necessarily means anything, but it does sound like from the reporting, I've always said he kind of screams Florida head coach. Doesn't look like it's going to end up that way, but we'll see. As Wolken, friend of the show, points out in his article, he kind of was talking about how, it feels like it's going to be LSU or Ole Miss, Florida's third. But with this guy, things can change very quickly, and that's probably a good way to describe it. Lane can change things up very quickly.
Yeah. But this has not been an impressive week for him.
No. So maybe a resolution today. He's meeting with the AD today. We'll see.
You know what the best thing would be? Those Bulldogs win that Egg Bowl.
That'd be nice.
I called it last Saturday.
He decides to stay at Ole Miss, and then he loses the Egg Bowl. Come on.
I called it. I called Mississippi State losing to Missouri last weekend, and that they're going to win the Egg Bowl. Go bowl eligible.
Yeah.
Kiffin's going to be out the door.
Yeah.
Should we take my music question?
Let's hit the phone line. Welcome in Neil real quick. Neil, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
I wanted this to be a music show. Go ahead, Neil.
Hey, Joe. It's Friday, man. I just want to have a fun question, and if you can answer this without Google, it'll blow my mind.
Okay.
Who was the first music band to ever have a website on the internet?
Musician?
Music band to ever have their first website on the internet. And when I tell you this, it's my favorite band of all time. I've said it before. They're the greatest band of all time.
I'm just going to guess Genesis because we were talking about Phil Collins.
My guess is KC and Sunshine Band.
Nope. Y'all ready for this one?
Okay.
It was Megadeth.
Wow.
1995. It was Megadeth, Arizona. They just released Euthanasia.
Megadeth on the cutting edge of internet technology. I would not have guessed that.
How about Peace Sells, one of the all-time great albums.
Thank you, Neil.
Hey, well, they have a new album coming out in January.
Do they really?
So it's their last album. Yep. It's
All
their
right.
title. So
Hey.
love you guys, man.
Thank you, Neil.
Fun.
Appreciate you, man.
Neil, I don't know if you were listening that day, but I saw Megadeth at the K-Wing Center in the summer of 1995, and some teenager gave me some glass of something, and I just drank it.
Great call.
Yeah, but we had a blast. There was some moshing.
Turron Davenport with us coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. It is that time of the week. One of the best parts about the Titans season is that we get to talk to TD every Friday morning at 8 o'clock. Presented by Bart Durham Injury Law and fueled by Parman Energy. Let's welcome in TD to the program now on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Turron, good morning, buddy. How we doing?
Hey, good morning. How you guys?
Doing awesome, man. Appreciate you taking time to be with us. TD, I'm interested for your thoughts on the running game. We've talked about that a lot this week. They are dead last in the NFL at 78.9 yards rushing per game. If not for Ward the other day against the Texans, and albeit I realize the Texans are a really good defense, but it's been a problem all year long. They just can't run the ball. How surprised are you by that, given the investment in their offensive line? I know it looks like Pollard has taken a clear step back this year. What do you make of how the Titans running game has gotten to this point where it's as bad as it's been so far this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's dead last in the league, as you mentioned. And, I mean, I had a story post this morning about the rushing attack, and it's just crazy how far it's fallen since Derrick Henry has been gone. And, I mean, naturally, you lose one of the best running backs in the game, it's going to fall. But, I mean, we're talking about going from consistently in the top 5 rushing attacks to all of a sudden being dead last. And you look at, there's so many things that add up to it, getting behind schedule with the false starts, a lineman slipping or a receiver not going and getting a linebacker or a safety. Like there's so many things that keep it from happening. And they just got to find a way to get it going early. And that's the big thing.
So, TD, I wanted to get your big picture assessment of, the Simmons comments after the game, the Latham false starts, the Key and Ward, the other Ward, talking about young guys, things like that. But obviously, a lot of things, I guess, point to Latham. I know Jeff then talked yesterday about, like he thinks it's going well. They're having their own conversations as well. What is, first of all, I mean, did you look at this as largely about Latham and Sweat, more than that? And do you think that, I guess, that the message is getting through if that's the case?
Yeah, I think Latham is definitely one of the guys that they're talking about. And it's okay because, like I said yesterday on Next Man Up, is like, to he much is given, much is desired. Latham is a very talented young man, and these guys know that, so they want more out of him naturally, so it's understandable. But then you look at some of the other situations, whether it's Tavondre Sweat or another young guy. Look, they just want the most out of these talented players, and they want to win, bottom line. And, I mean, when you go 1-9, and you have all the losing that this organization has had over the last, year plus, it's going to be frustrating. So it's natural. I think guys are starting to take it. You look at Kevin Winston. Like, he's a really good example. When I talked to Quandre Diggs after he had asked for his release, he told me how Winston is going to be a good one and how he's a real one and how he, was really open to the things that he had, the gems that he had to pass down to him. So I think it is getting soaked in, but, I mean, it could soak in as much as you want. But if you don't have enough players to win, you're not going to win, and that's where they are.
TD, I'm going to ask you a somewhat ridiculous question, but, I mean, par for the course. That's what I do. So I was talking with PK about this yesterday, and I realize in real life you cannot do this. But if you were Mike Borgonzi and you could guarantee that you could fix one thing this offseason, like you're looking at all these different positions of needs that they've got, which is a ton, as you know, and you were guaranteed one that would come in and you fix it. What is it? Is it wide receiver? Is it edge rusher? Is it something else? Where do you think that starts for Borgonzi this offseason?
That's a very good question because you're like, okay, well, if they get a pass rusher, the defense would be that much better. Then you're like, if they get a receiver, they'll score points. I'm going to go, they would get a playmaking receiver, an A.J. Brown, that type, right? And the reason why I'm going to go there is because this team is averaging 14 points a game.
Ugh.
14. So to me, it's just completely uncomplimentary football, but there's two phases that I think are satisfactory, right? And I think if you get the offense up, now that's going to make everything else better. So give me the receiver. Go ahead and get Carnell Tate out of Ohio State.
That's what I'm saying.
He's pretty good.
He is.
Ohio State receivers for the most part,
Did pretty well.
For the most part, yeah, you're gonna end up being happy. All right, so got to ask you about Cam Ward, but let me ask you this, TD. We were talking earlier about, look, I mean, there's people who are like, he is a total bust. He's no chance, and there's people who are, there's no question he's going to be great. I kind of tune out both sides. I don't know how anybody can pretend to know, but one thing that bothers me is like people who, and this is an NFL thing, and I think a lot of the NFL media at large probably watches as little Titans as any team, and I don't blame them, by the way. But people who are judging Cam Ward purely on like the metrics, the underlying numbers, along with the traditional stats, I just have a problem with that. When you, obviously for you're covering a team, you watch every play. I don't think there's anything that can replace that. But what do you value when it comes to other, like what you look at, to match up with your eyes on like a quarterback in this league?
What or who?
Yeah, what do you value? Statistically speaking, you know what I mean? Because again, there's some people out there who are they're throwing everything. And again, I think there's value in a lot of these things. But I guess beyond traditional stats, what do you value in that world?
Yeah, so if you're looking at numbers and beyond just the standard passing yards, touchdowns, interceptions, to me, one of the things that I look at is completion percentage as well as average per completion. That's something. I look at third downs, I look at red zone, and I just look at those things because those are really the measurables you look at and you hone in on when you're looking at any quarterback. So it's like third down and red zone. Okay, how is he in the clutch? What are some of the things that he's done in those situations? Okay, how frequently is he completing passes? And are they just check downs? So are they, 9 to 10 yards per attempt, like that kind of situation? So that's what I look at. But ideally, it's not a number that you're focusing on, right? You're looking at how is he operating the offense. You're looking at, like, what is he doing down to down? How is he under pressure? Those types of things. And you really could only tell that, like, when you're watching the game and getting a feel for how he has everything flowing.
So another stat, and Robby brought this up, and I did not realize it was on this pace. It's crazy to me, but apparently, Cam Ward on pace to be sacked 70 times, which is just an awful number. So that number with him, how much, and I'm not looking for a exact number of this many around him, but he does drift and things like that. Like, how much of the sack issues are you putting on him right now?
Look, I think there's a good amount of them, and there was improvement last week. Like, even though he got sacked, 3 times, I think it was?
Yeah.
Maybe 4.
That was 4, 4.
He did an awesome job. Let me not say that. He did a good job, a solid job getting the ball out a little bit quicker, right? And then you could tell it in the numbers, right? 2.9 is his regular average seconds, snap to throw. He was at 2.6. Now, obviously, a lot of it was game plan, but, and knowing that you got those guys coming off the edge, so you want to get the ball out quicker. So I think that's something that he's working to do better, but that's been a big thing. And you hit the nail on the head, right, when you talked about being in the pocket, right, the pocket awareness. You don't have to flee an empty pocket. You know what I mean? Like, it's calm. Don't flee it. Like, move within it to find your passing lanes. But he's done that times where he ran into sacks. And then you just got, just sitting in there and getting sacked and not getting the ball out. So, I mean, there are a lot of things that go into the sacks that he's caused. And I think he does have a good fair share of those and the guilt in that.
So, TD, I mean, look, you mentioned the Titans' record is what it is. They've actually gotten some better defensive performances than I thought possible at times with the roster that they've thrown out there so far this year. But every now and then you run across a game on the schedule like we did a few weeks ago with the Colts where it looks real bad heading into it. And there's another one coming up this week in Seattle who is not perfect, but they got a really darn good defense, as you know. And, they're a good football team, a contender in the NFC. It's a 2-touchdown favorite on the road. So what do you make of this? How do the Titans hang in there in this one on Sunday against a very good Seattle team.
Yeah, man. And look, judging from this weather, they brought the rain with them too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think the main thing is going back to running the football, right? And it's going to be tough because 78 yards a game going against a team that's what, sixth? Yeah, sixth, allowing like 95 yards a game. So you got to run the ball, and I think by doing that, that calms everything down. Look at what Cam Ward told me on Wednesday when I asked him about, the rushing attack helping a young quarterback. He said it allows you to establish physicality. It allows you to, work play action. And he's right. When you work the play action, the passing lane's open, et cetera. So it's a long-winded answer in regards to what they have to do, which is run the football, and that's really going to settle the offense.
Is it time to seriously give Spears more work and just give him more carries and see what he can do?
I would look at doing that. I talked to Tony Pollard yesterday, and he said there is room to be a little more dedicated to the run. So maybe give both of them more carries, but it's just so hard to when you it's 1st and 10 and you get a false start. It's 1st and 15. You're not calling the run play.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? But then even you look at the average per carry, both of those guys are under 4 yards. So it's not like, you got one guy at close to 5 and another one at 3.9. And it's like, hey, give him the ball more. I think they just got to get more first downs and just be more efficient. And then both of those guys could get more touches.
TD, last thing I'll say is I hope, I don't have any expectation this thing is going to go well on Sunday. I hope we're not again after this game talking about a decision in like the 25-yard line of the opposition to either kick a field goal on 4th and 1 or punt.
If so, you may have to put Karski in a straight jacket.
Yeah, you might have to just go ahead and get him out of there.
Yeah, man, he looks like he's gonna blow a gasket. That
even more than normal.
He and McCoy, like it's funny banter. I had to chime in on it this time.
Oh, you did, yes.
Like, it's. I don't want to say it's frustrating, but it is frustrating. It's not frustrating because I'm a fan. It's frustrating because, like, yo, what are you doing?
What does he have to lose?
Exactly. You got nothing to lose. It's like the animal that's backed into a corner. That's the most it's supposed to be the most dangerous one because he's gonna do whatever you got to do to live. They don't have much more lives to live. Like, you're 1-9.
It's I can see
amazing.
That maybe you and PK both might need to take a time out, huh?
No, it's just heightened. Even though I'm from a much more highly populated city, being here, the traffic still irks me. So I'm like Michael Douglas right now, falling down. Remember?
Don't do that.
Oh boy! Well, this season I think is doing it to all of us. I think it is. TD, great stuff as always, man. Appreciate you taking time to be with us and enjoy yourself this weekend.
I appreciate it, man. You guys take it easy.
Turron Davenport with us every Friday morning at 8 o'clock, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law and fueled by Parman Energy. TD does a great job covering the Titans for ESPN. We will react to what TD had to say coming up next. We've got Pigskin Pick'em at 8:30. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode. It's Phil Collins or Paul Kuharski bringing us back in.
That's from No Jacket Required, 1985.
Wow, look at you.
Bangers all up and down that album.
Look at you. I got some tickets to give away. See the Preds take on the Colorado Avalanche at Bridgestone Arena tomorrow. Puck drop at 7 o'clock. By the way, Colorado won again last night, which means they are still with one regulation loss heading into this one. Caller number 6. Caller 6 will win a pair of tickets to see the Preds take on the Avs tomorrow at Bridgestone Arena.
Real quick music point before we get to I guess I can make fun of Nick since he's on the phone. He's not listening. He said it was just like TD said he saw the Drizzler last night. By the way, the intro music for TD is the Jizza, the Genius. Yeah. Liquid Sword's one of the all-time great.
The Riddler.
Wu-Tang Adam. The Riddler. But TD saw the Jizza last night at Skydeck. That is awesome.
Hey,
I'm
in
jealous.
my defense,
I am jealous.
Could not really hear him that well on the phone line, so just heads up.
But just for your future reference, his intro music is the Jizza. There we go. Some good music talk. I mean, I'm trying to turn this show into a music show.
How do you know? What if he did see the Drizzler?
Who is the Drizzler?
I don't know. But I'm sure there's somebody out there that goes by that.
Sloppy, whatever. No.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Joe, I guess for the first time this week, we should maybe talk about the game. They do play on Sunday.
Sure. Sam's good.
I said it.
Sam Darnold.
Well, I remember a few weeks ago they played the Colts, and it was like everybody was looking at it and was like, well, they're just going to get absolutely killed by the Colts. And then they did. They did get destroyed by the Colts. And I'm kind of looking at this one the same way. Like, I don't know. I think some of the conversation on Seattle has gone a little bit overboard. Like, there's still, to me, a lot for Darnold to prove once crunch time and playoff time comes around. But there's no doubt that they're very good. Their defense in particular is very good. And Jackson Smith and Jigba, I mean, with what the Titans are throwing out there at corner right now, like, he would terrify me if I'm the Titans heading into this game based on what he's doing. So I don't know that I can even really see a route here where the Titans actually win the game, which is crazy to say in an NFL game. But I'm just wondering, like, can they hang in this one? Because Seattle's coming off. I mean, Darnold threw 4 picks last week. They still almost won, by the way, against the Rams. And it feels like a horrible matchup to me heading into this one.
Yeah, it would take Seattle just having a complete letdown / meltdown after losing a heartbreaking game to the Rams where Darnold threw 4 picks and still they were in position. They lined up for a long winning field goal that missed. So some huge hangover from that and from traveling east and just assuming that you're going to put your helmet out there and blow out the Titans. I mean, it does happen in the NFL. And in this league, if you take that mindset, most weeks you're going to pay for it. If there was ever a time when you could do that and get away with it, probably against the Titans or maybe the Jets. But it's hard. I'm with you. I mean, I think Seattle will probably handle this. It's a really good team, like a really good defensive team. And, Darnold, a lot to prove. I mean, I heard Charles talking with you guys yesterday. I agree. It's like there's just a big referendum on him, I think, this postseason. Not great that you have this huge game. He throws 4 picks.
Yep.
He feasts on the lesser of the league. There is no doubt about that. So this would be a great get-right game for him, as that's the way things have been going for him.
Smith and Jigba has 72 catches for 1,146 yards, 5 touchdowns, 15-9 a catch in 10 games so far. It's just absurd. It's a ridiculous number.
Yeah. No, it's
so get out there, Titans. Go cover it. There we go.
You see, Seattle's a great example of. I mean, think about it. How long ago was that? Was it 3 years ago, or was it just 2 years ago, where Russ goes to Denver? Was it 2 or 3? It must have been 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's in my mind. I was like, was that just 2 years ago that we're like, oh my God, Seattle, they're gonna suck forever, And you go boom, boom, and of course this does bring up the Darnold thing, right?
Bless you.
Thank you.
I have an allergic reaction talking about the Titans too. Yes.
Yeah. Or the Darnold. Maybe it's just talking about Darnold. I mean, some Titans fans want him. I was in favor, by the way. I was on Team Stilly on that one. I think Gentry was on the team too. I don't remember if you were or not.
No.
But to me, it was like, I'd rather go with a guy like that who played well enough last year that you could, you could win with that guy with some improvements. Now, how long are you winning? I know that Karski did some reporting on this. I think Nick Suss did some reporting on this, on sort of the conversations. And basically, I get the idea of like, okay, so you're going to be still a losing team with him. So then at what point are you good enough to actually win with him at quarterback? And, I get that. But, it all comes down to – it just comes down to conviction on Cam Ward. So if they end up being right about Cam Ward, which is still possible, fine. But I'd say right now, the early returns aren't great on either front.
Let's welcome in Ed to the program on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Ed, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
Doing good, buddy.
Great.
So if I don't get a chance to talk to you next week, happy Thanksgiving to you both.
Same to you,
Joe. I wish you a gout-free Black Friday weekend. So hoping things don't go.
Big week next week
for you.
Turkey's all clear, baby. All the turkey I want.
Yeah, it's the other stuff I worry about, right?
Yeah.
So two things on Ward. Like watching that game last night. Look, I got a better. 95 yards. Ward goes down the field with Van Jefferson and Mason Kinsey. You could throw the stats out the window to me, and I'm not a Cam buddy. Whatever they're called. I'm trying to be realistic, but watching what that team did to Josh Allen and then putting in the perspective on what Ward, he didn't have a dominant game, but to go 95 yards against that defense, those are the moments you want to see that give you hope. And I want to just call out Zach Lyons. I don't know if you saw his tweet about there's a narrative going around that Latham had all kinds of chip help, but of the 43 pass plays that they had, he had 13 chip. They were helping him 13 times and 10 times for the man door. 30 times without help, and you're giving up 0 pressures and 0 sacks. I get the false starts, but I think that's what you want to see, right? So I'm trying to hold on to any strand I can in a miserable season.
I'm with you.
I thought that was positive.
No, I agree. Totally agree.
Pump that sunshine, Ed.
Probably need to. I guess
That's
my first reaction when I hear that is you may need to help the man door a little more. Get that door lodge. Put it under there.
Can you give the man door a screen?
Can you get the door stopper? Let's see if we can remove that. Get that thing some free flowing ability.
Get deadbolt going here a little bit. Yeah. It's funny. The whole Latham is a great example of like some people. Oh, he was good. I thought he played pretty well. Again, I'll go with just like watching him play. He played pretty well. But yeah, like 3 false starts in a hole.
I'll tell you one thing I want to see this
still
weekend.
make it hard to get excited.
I want to see 0 false starts from J.C. Latham this weekend. That would be nice.
So if he has 0 false starts, gives up 3 sacks.
I'll take the 0 false starts.
Okay.
Give me 0 false starts.
Yeah, that's a fair thing to ask.
I'd like to see 0 false. I would take 0 false starts and give up 1 sack. Sign me up. I'll take it.
Like there's 0 reason to have any false starts playing at home.
Correct.
Yeah, in the NFL.
615-737-1025, our phone number. We will get more of your thoughts coming up. Next, it is Pigskin Pick'em. So we will get your thoughts in the final segment of the show on the Titans and the Seahawks. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Now, it's time for Pigskin Pick'em with Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It is time for Pigskin Pick'em here on the program. We are creeping, and I emphasize creeping, up into the interesting part of this competition. You know, it's a long slog throughout the football season, as Titans fans are well aware of. But we're getting into, mid to late November, Thanksgiving right around the corner. We're getting into crunch time in the competition here.
Yeah, I guess. I suck.
A standings update in the competition. Not a great week for us last week. Ian pulled out a decent week, 3-3, no lock. You and I were both 1-5. Not good. I got my lock with Western Kentucky. You did not get your lock, which brings the overall standings. I don't remember. I've already deleted it.
Freaking South Florida. Great job. They didn't even win the game. Suck.
I am 38-34, 5-7 on my locks, 43 points. Ian Safar, 37-35 overall, 5-7 on his locks, 42 points, 1 point back. Rexrode 30-42, 7-5 on his locks, 37 points. Still within striking distance.
Which is just should be depressing for you two.
With that in mind, we begin with Kentucky and Vanderbilt in the final home game, we think, for Diego Pavia. Vanderbilt is an 8.5-point favorite in this matchup. Joe, I think this is going to be an interesting game for the majority of it, and I think a late score will pull Vanderbilt away into the double digits, and they will win, and they will cover minus the 8.5. I think you're going to be probably looking around in the third quarter, and it's like, well, I mean, Kentucky, touchdown down. They could really get back in this thing. I think a late score propels Vandy to cover in this game. Nick Frazier is in for Ian today. Ian Safar has sent his picks in. So, Ian, who's really Nick, what did Ian select here?
Ian went with Kentucky plus 8.5.
Ooh.
He's in the same boat as Big Joe. He's not too confident on Vandy to get the job done, but it could happen. Possible trap game.
Kentucky plus the 8.5. Joe Rexrode, who we got in this one?
Well, I talked to Mark Stoops yesterday, and he guaranteed victory. No, he did not. But I will say he's done a pretty remarkable job. When they were 2-5, everybody wanted him fired. Now they've shifted their anger to Mark Pope away from Mark Stoops. I think Kentucky is going to be right there to win this game. They are playing good football. They're motivated just to get to a bowl game at this point, which would be a hell of a save. I think Vanderbilt is going to find a way, but it's going to be like a late field goal. So give me Kentucky in those points.
Going Kentucky plus the 8.5. Tennessee and Florida coming up in the Swamp much later in the season than it has been, but a 3-7 Florida team. Tennessee is a 3.5-point favorite on the road. Nick Frazier, where has Ian gone in this matchup?
Ian's just gone away from the state of Tennessee in general. He's going with Florida plus 3.5. He's worried about this game as well.
Going with the Gators plus the 3.5. Joe Rexrode, who we got in this one?
I think it's finally time here. How many times have I said that?
Several since we've done this show.
I know. But I think it is. I think Tennessee, even though it's been disappointing, the playoffs not on the table anymore. I just think they're going to go down there. If they play the way they've been playing most of the year, I think that they will score enough points to win this game by about 10. Give me the balls.
I have no problem with that pick you've just made. Heavily rooting for it. And you were free to do that. As a Tennessee fan, it would be completely idiotic for me to pick Tennessee in this game. It really would. Like, even if I believe that they're going to win, which I do, I can't do that. Like, I can't do it. So I'll go Florida plus the 3.5. I'll go Florida to win. Why not?
No lock?
No.
Okay.
I'm holding on to a very specific one for my lock.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
I'll go Florida plus the 3.5. The Seahawks and the Titans. Seahawks, a 13.5-point favorite on the road. Joe Rexrode, you're up first in this one.
My God, it's the NFL. It's so. You know what? I need to make up some ground. You know what? I think the Titans cover. I think the Titans lose like 28-17. Give me the Titans.
How do you know that Ian and I aren't going to take the Titans?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I'm going to go Seahawks. I think it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be real bad on Sunday. I'll go Seahawks minus 13.5. Nick Frazier, who does Ian have in this matchup?
Yeah, same boat. Seahawks. He's thinking this game's going 31-13 for a final score. And make that his lock, by the way.
Okay.
Okay.
Locking down.
I got a chance. Man, my Titans and balls get it done for me this week. I got a chance, baby. Make some ground up. Let's go.
We move to the individual portion of the program. I was saving my lock for this one. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play.
Oh, boy.
The Chicago Bears are a 2.5-point favorite in this matchup. I think Rodgers is going to play in a place where he has just totally become, partial owner of the Chicago Bears. He does it one more time. Give me the Steelers plus the 2.5 against the Chicago Bears and make it my lock. I'm locking down on the old man to come through one more time against the Chicago Bears. Joe Rexrode, your first individual
don't
selection.
Get the guarantee button. I need it. I need my dopamine. There we go. It helps counteract the gout that I got from the Megadeth drink in 1995.
Yep.
Okay. Don't screw me over, Vrabel. Pats at Bengals. Jamar Chase is suspended. The Bengals are +6 at home against the Pats. I think New England's going to go in there and handle business and win this game by about 10 points. Do not Vrabel special me this week, Vrabel. New England -6.
One with the Patriots minus the 6. Ian Safar's first individual selection, read by Nick Frazier.
Doesn't love it, but he's going Tampa Bay -6.5 versus the Rams.
Tampa Bay -6.5 against the Rams. Are they favored in that game?
That's what he sent me.
I think that might be.
Unless I read it incorrectly.
Yeah, I
in
think
the
that's
text.
the other way around.
Other way around. Okay, excuse me.
So Tampa Bay plus the 6.5.
Yes, thank you.
So he is taking the Bucks though with those points. Okay.
Yeah, on text it said plus or -6.5.
Okay, I'm with you.
Should we disqualify him? I think we should disqualify that pick and give him 0-1 personally.
The second individual selection started by Joe Rexrode.
Okay. Captain Kirk, he's in. And, there's not that much left for the Falcons. It's a tough spot for them with Penix and another ACL. But they're at the Saints. The Saints, who stink, by the way, are -2.5. Give me the Falcons to win this game outright and make it my Captain Kirk lock. You like that?
One more time. Maybe the last time you get a chance to do it with Captain Kirk in his career.
That's right.
Why not? Take a shot there. Nick Frazier, Ian Safar, second individual selection.
He has the Indianapolis Colts +3.5 versus Kansas City again. Doesn't love it. Look, if you don't like it, Ian, don't take it. But look, if that's where he wants to go with it. So he's got the Colts at +3.5 versus Kansas City.
It's a massive game. Colts +3.5 on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give me Jacksonville -2.5 against the Arizona Cardinals. You never really know what Jacksonville's going to do on a week-to-week basis. Looked pretty good last week. I'll go with the Jags minus the 2.5 against the Arizona Cardinals, I believe, on the road. So,
yep,
we'll see how that goes. Ian Safar's final individual selection.
Going a little bounce-back game here. The Detroit Lions -10.5 versus the New York Giants. Dan Campbell's got something cooking is what he's thinking.
Going with a big win for the Lions against the New York Giants. Joe Rexrode, your final individual selection.
Well, that's a big number for a not very good team. Well, you may have noticed that last week I had we had four individuals and I went all college football and I lost them all.
Yeah.
So I'm going all NFL and Ian and I are absolutely head to head this week. Colts at Chiefs -3.5. Give me the Chiefs at home. They're going to make a little statement to the rest of the league and maybe cast a little doubt on Indy Ben's squad there.
Going with Kansas City -3.5 against the Colts at home. I will circle back to college football for my final individual selection. I know that this is a game where they don't really have their starting quarterback. I don't care. Colorado's awful. Give me Arizona State on the road -7.5 against Colorado. Colorado not very good, and I know Dion has come out this week and be like, hey, I'm your guy. I'm going to get it fixed. I'm going to get it figured out. Don't worry. Not going to get it figured out this week. I'll take Arizona State -7.5 against Colorado.
Nice.
Disappointing.
A little bit of a deep cut. Yeah.
Disappointing.
Very disappointing. Yeah.
It's not a great weekend on the college football front. So
no,
I had to do some work there. We will have your final thoughts on the Titans and the Seahawks. We will get into Vanderbilt and Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida. Any way you want to take it. Coming up next, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Commodores taking on Kentucky tomorrow at First Bank Stadium. Pregame at 1 o'clock on 102.5 The Game and 94.9 The Fan with kickoff at 2:30. Vanderbilt football brought to you by Gary Force Acura, Jimmy Kelly Steakhouse, and Smoky Mountain Tops. Our college football game of the week is Kentucky Vanderbilt as well on 102.5 The Game, 94.9 The Fan, brought to you by Twin Peaks Restaurants and Circa Sportsbook Kentucky. We are taking your thoughts. Titans in action this weekend. Tennessee down to the Swamp taking on the Gators, and the home finale for the Vanderbilt Commodores. Any way you want to take it. Let's welcome in Trey to the program. Trey, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Good, buddy.
Hey,
Good.
I just wanted to say, hey, thank you for taking my call. Hey, I just want to say, I want to call the NFL out because I feel like they took advantage of people that subscribe to the NFL game package. Okay, I was going to South America to get dental work done for the last 3 years, and I was able to watch the games in Colombia. And then the second year, during the off season, they take money out of your account. So for like 2 years, they was taking money out of my account. So I went back over there for some more dental work, and I tried to get the games on the TV, and it said I had to subscribe to another streaming service. I'm just like, I've already spent $200 or $300 on this package. I feel like they took advantage of the people that signed up for that package, and it's not fair. And it's not fair that they having these games over in these different countries that the people can't even afford rent. Who's paying for that? Who's paying for the $200 jerseys? Who's paying for the beer? We are. And they're taking advantage of us. That's why I don't watch the NFL. That's why I boycott them. And it's not fair to us. And they're taking advantage of us. And it's not fair. And y'all have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Trey. Appreciate it. Hope the dental work is going well.
There's a lot to unpack there. But I would one thing I would say is who's going to the game. Maybe like the dentist who worked on you there might be buying a jersey and going to the game. I don't know. Trey, Trey, you need to write a book, and maybe we will have like weekly, like you can read like part of a chapter of your life story.
Top tier says the plot thickens as to why Trey listens on the radio. It's gone international at this point.
It does. It is adding up. See, now we're getting it. Although I don't know. I guess if you're boycotting, is it still boycotting if you're listening to the game? I don't know.
I don't know. It's in the top half of the bottom third of boycotts, I would say.
Hey, 2 quick points I want to make about the Titans.
Sure.
One is Garcia just tweeted out they've got their topping ceremony.
Blake going to be there?
Not a sloppy topping ceremony, but a steel topping ceremony. That, as Kaharski points out, this event actually has its own logo, which is quite remarkable.
Good for them.
It's got the big T. It's like Nissan Stadium steel topping out ceremony.
All right.
And so get excited. Another point being made to me. I mean, we could have talked about this all week. We should have done more to break down Seattle Titans, but
yeah,
Mike McDonald.
Yes.
As a coach, when you think about different possibilities for the Titans, there is an example of a defensive guy,
no doubt,
who obviously has worked out well.
Yep.
They've got a fun offense. You get a good OC hire, you can do things.
No, I brought that up the other day. He's a really good coach, and the idea that they've got to hire, and I think that's what when you're watching over the next couple of months here, as the coaching searches in the NFL start to get back into the news cycle and people start to pay attention to that, I think everything you're going to hear from a national perspective is going to be like, well, they're going to go hire some offensive guy for Cam Ward.
Yeah.
I don't know that necessarily is going to happen. And I don't think that has to be the case for the Titans. Just go hire the right coach.
Yeah.
If it's offensive, great. If not, who cares?
Now, last time it was like that was the belief, and it was pretty clear that was the internal push.
Yeah.
And they did it, and it didn't work out.
And that doesn't
newsflash breaking.
Well, that doesn't mean the next one wouldn't work out if they did the same thing. I'm not saying you can't hire an offensive coach. I just think a lot of the conversation around is going to be, well, they got to. It's Cam Ward. You got to go hire an offensive coach, and I do not subscribe to that theory.
I subscribe to your not subscribing to that theory.
I appreciate that.
There's a lot of subscribing going on today.
Do we get a resolution on the Lane Kiffin front today and or this weekend?
I think we do get one today. And there's a lot of smoke about there's a big meeting today. I think. Well, you said it earlier.
Yeah, Keith Carter, their athletic director.
I think it's, and if you're him, it's
not the former Titans offensive line coach.
That's right. But if you're him, I think it's got to be a look, man. Just I understand this is agonizing, or whatever, but like just go ahead, pick a path, and we'll move on without you. And we love you, and you leave the staff, and try to like let our players alone in a playoff run, please. Can we have some gentlemen's agreements here? Or all right, let's go full. I hope he stays, but I am drifting toward LSU as a prediction. How about you?
Nope.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's going to end up.
Yeah.
Which, if it happens today and or this weekend, will be very fascinating to see how the next couple of weeks go for Ole Miss.
I mean, Frazier's in there just
salivating,
thinking about that egg bowl and the things that could happen. Ah, baby.
Jeff Levy in there. That's right, Lane. You run away. Run away. See how it goes.
Those Mississippi State fans want Lane the hell out of there. They're very excited about this possibility.
I hope Vanderbilt fans enjoy Diego Pavia tomorrow.
Yep.
Probably going to be the last time he plays a game at home. So I hope Vanderbilt fans soak that in tomorrow, and we'll see if they can ride off into the sunset with a win.
I really can't think of many more, impactful 2-year college athlete careers. And of course, it's never about one person in any sport, certainly not in football, but what he's done to just change the mindset and to bring so much entertainment and fun. It's pretty remarkable. Give the guy a standing O.
Had a couple around here recently. Him, and this one, is a different circumstance. Hendon Hooker with Tennessee, just kind of crazy. 2 years for him there, 2 years at Vanderbilt for Diego Pavia, and the numbers that they're putting up. Pretty wild.
And hopefully Pavia does not get screwed like Hooker when it comes to being in New York, because Hooker should have been there and Pavia should be there too.
That's going to do it for us today. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman is next. This is 102.5 The Game.